Welcome to This Explainer. We are officially down to the final 8 teams across the United States, and let me tell you, the drama is at an absolute fever pitch. We're going to be breaking down the massive stakes of the 2026 World Cup quarterfinals today, and we've got a pretty shocking AI prediction for the tournament winner to share with you later on. But before we get totally lost in the data, let's just ask the ultimate question that literally every soccer fan is debating right now. Who actually has what it takes to survive this next round? 40 teams have already packed their bags and headed home. Now, we are looking at the absolute elite fighting for the ultimate prize in football. So, here is our roadmap for the day. First, we'll look at the disciplinary tightrope. Then we'll dive into the epic quarterfinal matchups. After that, we'll check in on the Golden Boot battle, and finally, AI predicts the winner. All right, Section 1, the disciplinary tightrope. 1 yellow card away from disaster. There's this massive hidden danger lurking just beneath the surface of all these matches. Under FIFA's rules, any player who picks up a second booking of the tournament during these quarterfinals, well, they are suspended for the semifinals if their team actually makes it through. It's a huge psychological burden to carry on the pitch. And the crucial point here is this massive number. 17. Yep, 17 players are heading into the quarterfinals knowing that just one more yellow card will ban them from a potential semifinal appearance. Think about that for a second. It completely changes how these athletes have to approach 90 minutes of high-intensity, do-or-die football. Now, it's really interesting to see exactly where this risk is concentrated. Morocco and England are in the absolute most danger right now, with 4 players each just walking the line. Switzerland isn't far behind, with 3, and that includes their crucial midfielder, Granit Xhaka. Honestly, almost every single remaining squad has at least one player who has to be incredibly careful out there.
And we are not just talking about bench players here, okay? These are the core engines of these teams. England is already feeling the sting because they're missing Jarell Quansah due to a red card from that crazy 3-2 victory over co-hosts Mexico. So any further bookings for absolute stars like Declan Rice or Jude Bellingham could literally derail their entire campaign. And for Morocco, their legendary defense relies heavily on Achraf Hakimi and Issa Diop. Just one mistimed tackle, and their semifinal lineup looks very, very different.
Okay, moving on to Section 2, epic quarterfinal matchups, the road to the semifinals. Let's see how this tournament is actually going to build towards its epic conclusion, because we've got 4 incredibly diverse games lined up for you. So, here's how the next few days are going to unfold chronologically. We are getting 4 consecutive days of absolute do-or-die football across the U.S. We kick things off in Boston on July 9th with France versus Morocco. Then it's Spain against Belgium in L.A., Norway taking on England down in Miami, and we wrap it all up with Argentina and Switzerland over in Kansas City. Our first clash is just a brilliant example of a classic battle of opposites. If you remember, France ended Morocco's fairy tale run back in the 2022 semifinals, right? So this is the ultimate test of an immovable object against an unstoppable force. You've got Morocco's highly motivated wall of defense, led by Yassine Bounou, desperately looking for revenge, going straight up against this star-studded French attack featuring Kylian Mbappe, Michael Olise, Ousmane Dembélé, and Bradley Barcola. Next up, we have Spain, who are honestly putting on a defensive masterclass. They haven't conceded a single goal this entire tournament. They're actually riding a historic streak of 6 straight World Cup clean sheets. But they are facing a totally chaotic Belgian side that has just stumbled through a roller coaster of a tournament. Belgium has a pretty leaky defense, sure, but their potent attack has somehow managed to score 12 times across this wild run. So the question is, can Belgium's wild momentum actually crack Spain's historic wall?
And when we look at Argentina versus Switzerland, we see a really stark contrast. The defending champions Argentina have really had to claw their way here. They're leaning heavily on the veteran genius of Lionel Messi and a squad that averages over 30 years old. Switzerland, on the flip side, is fresh off their first ever World Cup shootout win, and they rely on the blazing pace of youthful wingers like Johan Manzambi and Ruben Vargas. Is going to be experience and Messi's magic outlasting youth and speed? We'll see.
All right, Section 3, the Golden Boot battle. Europe's elite strikers clash in Miami. This brings us to what is perhaps the most exciting individual storyline of the week. Because, it is incredibly rare to see 2 of the top contenders for a tournament's highest score actually facing off directly in a knockout match. When Norway meets England, we are going to witness a true heavyweight clash between Erling Haaland and Harry Kane. Just think about these stats for a second. Haaland is an absolute machine. He's sitting at 7 goals in just 4 appearances this tournament, plus a staggering 27 goals in his last 14 national caps. Insane, right? But Harry Kane is right there with him, close behind with 6 goals, and he's coming off that massive clutch penalty winner against Mexico. They are separated by just 1 single goal in the Golden Boot race. Whoever wins this individual duel, they'll probably be the one punching their team's ticket to the semis. Which brings us to Section 4. AI predicts the winner. The Oracle speaks. Now that we know all the human stakes, it's time to pivot over to the machine's perspective and see what the data actually suggests. We've looked at the form, the history, the tactics, but what happens when you feed all of that into a massive data model?
Well, that sets up a super fascinating thought experiment. Can an artificial intelligence, specifically Grok AI, accurately simulate the sheer chaos of the World Cup? We all know football is beautifully unpredictable, but AI can process thousands of data points and probabilities that we can't even fathom. So, what did it actually spit out?
Let's just walk through the AI's predicted timeline here. First, it foresees a massive shock in the quarterfinals, predicting that Norway and Holland are going to pull off a huge upset and eliminate England 2-1. Moving to the semifinals, it predicts France will edge out Spain's ironclad defense 2-1, while Argentina will dispatch Norway 3-1, fueled by what the AI literally calls a messy masterclass. And all of that algorithmic crunching sets up the ultimate blockbuster, a 2022 finals rematch between France and Argentina in New Jersey.
And according to the AI, France will claim their 3rd World Cup with this incredibly specific, super dramatic scenario playing out in the final minutes. The machine predicts a thrilling final decided late, with Kylian Mbappe scoring the winner in the 82nd minute after Lionel Messi equalizes earlier. I mean, it's almost spooky how vividly this AI paints a picture of footballing heartbreak and triumph, right? So, I'm going to leave you with this to ponder. Is this AI prediction a true glimpse into the future? Just a cold calculation of inevitable probabilities? Or will the unpredictable magic, the raw human emotion, and the beautiful chaos of the game completely tear this bracket apart? Keep your eyes on that disciplinary tightrope. Watch those elite matchups, and let's see if the data actually holds up on the pitch. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the quarterfinals.